Naust MISiS. Think bright.
Well, dear audience, cheers to those of you who posted your questions in the YouTube chat. Your most interesting questions will be answered right now as we welcome our dear speakers on the stage once again. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ashken, for coming today here in this hall. We are, like me personally, I'm delighted to be here again after a year of a huge little pause. So my question is, how do you feel about the problems as a word, as a meaning?
Absolutely the same way. I'm absolutely sure that, problem is also maybe a beautiful word, so we don't need to ignore it completely. But for me, wherever we say problem, there is a room to grow, actually. And it's kind of an emphasizing that we can do something here. So there is always room for like finding a new opportunity and growth. And as we say in an anecdote, whatever can be covered by money, it's not a problem, it's an expense. So we can avoid like word problem at all, I think.
That is true. I agree with you. Andrew, what about you? Ashken, the next question is for you. How did you understand that the sphere of 3D modeling will be popular in future?
First of all, it was, of course, you feel the trend. But for me, the most important is we are in 3D for around 10 years. And every other day we are inspired the way we were inspired the very first day when we saw how technology started for us, at least. And I think that is the key for us while we are still in 3D. But when we are talking about trends, imagine the world among us. It's not actually that perfect. You can improve every other step, every other piece of whatever you see. And 3D printing is one of the best tools to improve it because you have complete freedom of geometry and big variety of materials. So actually 3D printer is kind of a robot which can produce whatever you ask him to produce, which means that this industry will become and will stay inspiring as much as we convert our brain to think from 2D to 3D. So actually, it's always about people. And if we can, do this breakthrough, then 3D will always be super trendy.
This is actually very inspiring because I think the technology here is limitless. I remember hearing about a scholar, a researcher who developed something like of a Band-Aid which is 3D printed with the stem cells of the person who will receive the Band-Aid, and it heals completely any of the bruises or something like a really harsh injury. So basically, 3D printing is the future.
Yeah, I also agree. And again, it's not 3D printing is a future. 3D printer is a tool.
It's a tool,
we are,
to achieve maybe.
It's all about people, yeah? But yes, 3D printing can help us to see a brighter future and more customized. So if I like this, I can make it the very same way I like it. If you like it the other way, you can make it the way you like it. So we will have more diverse and more interesting world.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, Ashken, next question is for you. First of all, the person asking the question is thanking you for your inspiring speech. Could you tell us if your company works in other countries or only in Russia?
We work, so it's Russia and former Soviet.
Mm-hmm.
And from end of last year, we started to work in the States.
In the States? With the States or in the States?
In the States.
Oh, wow.
With the States. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that, if it's not so confidential?
I don't think that it is a confidential. So actually, it was also kind of my dream because the technology came from the States and they have all the recent developments, and the integration of the technology over there is much faster due to the different reasons, actually. And I don't want to underestimate whatever is happening here, because Russia is a fantastic country, and the way we consume the technology here is also like truly, truly amazing. And the projects we do here, like, they really keep inspiring us every day. But in the States, the size of the market is significantly different. And we always wanted to try ourselves, like, to kind of take this challenge to work in the more competitive market. And I personally also was always very inspired by aerospace. And you know, I think like the companies like SpaceX, they always are somewhere over there. That's why we had some products in our portfolio in Russia where we were performing well by selling and using those solutions. And we took those contracts to the States. So currently, the company over there is located actually like kind of 10 minutes drive from the SpaceX and like relevant companies' facilities. It's a very tech area, and we are doing similar thing what we do here. And it's an amazing experience because it's so different, the way the market reacts, the way we need to talk to customer, the way we need to support and service the customer. And there is always constant process, like for both regions. But for me, the most delicious part is that the way the technology is consumed in both regions is very different. And if we find a way to find a synergy between that and any kind of experience exchange, because, you know, like our countries are a little so similar that they are too sensitive. That's why if there is an opportunity to do this exchange, that would be just amazing, because we will see completely different landscape.
Well, I hope that future generations will solve this, not problem, but a challenge, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How do you see the future of additive manufacturing of 3D? This is a part of a really big question I'm trying to... Yeah, especially in sensitive areas like aerospace, military, medical, etc. Is it reliable enough?
Oh, it's more than reliable. Actually, let's... again, this is a way to produce part, and this is one of the ways. We have casting, we have milling, we have 3D printing, for example. First two are called conventional technologies, and this is like innovative technology. The difference is the way we produce the part. So in milling, we take the bulk material and then we mill out of it. And we have kind of a lot of problems with that so far now already, because we have a lot of waste and we cannot dig inside too far, so we have geometry limitations, which means that when we use this part, we will also be limited in application. So for example, when we take this part and use it in aerospace, where we have very complex parts, then we need to take not this part, but we need to make many small parts and then assemble them. And only use, like having that, we can have complex geometry inside. 3D printing lets you do that at once. But at the same time, you have perfect mechanical properties of the part, which means that actually the only stop factor for implementing the technology is the price of the technology itself, because the printers are not that cheap so far, and the 3D printing materials. But actually, we also start to see the balance, because CNC machines are also not super cheap, and material is slowly going cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And more technology is evolving, the quality is going higher, and then we can implement
and the price lower, right?
And the price lower, yeah. And then we can implement it to every industry. To be very precise, when we are talking about metal 3D printing, it's not worse, it's even better than conventional manufacturing in terms of the properties of the parts.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very...
Already?
Yeah, so it can be fully implemented. But I am not, recommending to take a 3D printer and now try to print everything. It's not reasonable. We need to be reasonable, and we need to understand that here we need to use this technology and here we need to use that technology. And not to forget that 3D printer is a tool, again, which gives us a lot of opportunities. So, for example, the sole of my sneaker is 3D printed, which means that it can be fully customized, which means that if I 3D scan my feet and then print out the sole, I will be able to run faster because it is taking into, let's say, analysis my anatomical specialties of the body.
This would be wonderful.
Yeah, and it is already there. People from sport, they already use all the customized things. And the insoles, they are printed already in many, many countries, including Russia. So it's actually here. Of course, there should be some more time to implement it properly. But again, it's all about people. So for example, if there are more companies who are ambassadoring 3D printing, then this will be implemented faster. If less companies, then we will enjoy the process for quite a long time.
Okay.
So the technology is here. We don't need to wait. Yeah.
This is great. I mean, I should research a little bit more about that because these shoes, they can be very, very uncomfortable to wear. So I will research into these things that you put into them.